see. Woo-hoo. Time for the Cowboys. Time to get working on. Oh boy, I got a lot of stuff open. Hey, it's almost time for Crazy Aunt Julie. And here I am on the 19 Nocturne Ranch, the bar 19 or something. Let's see here. Now that one is done. And this one, I'm just trying to make sure I know what all we have open and what all I have to fix. Okay, right. Those are being replaced. I wanted to change. Oh, I got some new lines. I got some corrected lines from some people, so I need to put those into episode 1. And to do that, I gotta go get it out of my email. I think I haven't downloaded it yet. Let's see. Downloads. No, I got Doc. I just haven't downloaded the other one. So, how was your day, everyone? No. Let's see. Oh, hey, there's that. And from a download. How about just download? Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, there's an issue. Okay, we'll get that fixed. Where is? I swear I had Scabby Bill in here. Where did it go? The world's first decentralized sound effects library. Whatever. Payment SFF. And one website. Crap. Now I don't know where it is. I could have sworn it was here. Might have been in Facebook. And that's pointless. Okay, well, I'll deal with it later. And we'll work on that. Let's just go on to a new scene then. Oh, hey, David. Hey. Oh, I'm glad. I wasn't even. My Sunday doesn't change much. I'm not. But, hey. It's for the people who like the rabbits and the people who like the church. So I'm cool either way. Okay. So I'm going to take this down. These papers here. My desk is so full of crap. What am I doing? Oh. Sorry, I was trying to find. Wait, there was a note somewhere. No. Something came up on one of these when I popped it. That was weird. I don't want to have to deal with that. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And my mom is convinced that I'm, no, that I live for the half price chocolate, which I don't really. Haven't done in a while. Okay. Oh. Stupid heading. There. Put it back to normal, I hope. Alright. Well, we've done several scenes. We were up to 4. Hello, Bunny. Yes, my sweet. She just has to butt in. My bunny. Okay. Right, we're on to 5, except we don't have the voices yet. Okay, hold on just a second. Gotta pet the cat for a minute. I hope everybody had a good Easter, and I hope this is I figure this will be a lightly attended thing because everybody's got family stuff going on. Do you want to say something into the microphone? She looks at me like, what? I get paid extra for that. Meow. 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 Nope. Not a sausage. I have quiet cats. They don't care to make any noise unless they're pretending to be distressed. And she can't be bothered to pretend. But she's going to monopolize my hands for just a minute here. I've been putting up all of the Deadeye Kid episodes, the other 2 serialized ones, scheduling them up onto YouTube. I've got YouTube programmed for like the next 6 weeks with those, and the next 6 months with Bingo. That takes a lot of work off my shoulders, hopefully. And, but, there's always more stuff to do. Yeah, typical cat behavior. This is my bunny. It's bunny day. No, it's mommy holds you day. I love you. Meow. She's also a quiet purrer. Here, why don't you get up on the back of the chair? There we go. Now mommy has her hands free and can work and is covered in cat hair. Oh, yep, it's Crazy Aunt Julie time. With Crazy Bunny. Okay, so now, just a second. Let me get my script up. I've been juggling computers all day again. And and this month on the radio station, just in case anybody's interested, I've been actually having a lot of fun with my radio station. But I post different kinds of... I post all the 19 Nocturnes, but I also post an old-time radio show, usually each month, as a... what do you call it? As a... just to break things up a little bit. I take one show and I put about 30 or 40 episodes of it into the rotation for the month. And what I came up with this month, I was looking at Burns and Allen, which is one of my favorite comedies from the old-time radio stuff.
That gormless bastard. Guns or not, us could take him. That gormless bastard. Guns or not, us could take him.
And oh, wait a minute. How many lines are there? I gotta go to the end of the scene. All right. Bunny. I got cat hair in my mouth. Jeez. Bleh. Anyway, what was I saying? I lost my brain. Oh yeah, Burns and Allen. I started listening to it, and I do love the show, and it's a great comedy show, but there's this postman character who all the jokes are about him being beaten by his wife. And I'm like, I'm sorry, spousal abuse.
Stormcloud him seems like a fair measure. I didn't feel for the fight. Yon Stormcloud him feels like a fair measure.
It's just like, it's kind of creepy almost. It's a little excessive for humor. One joke was okay. It's like, oh, well, my wife towed the line all last night. Towed the mark all last night. I'd show you the mark, but there are ladies present, Okay, that's a little cringy, but, oh, I'm so happy because I gave my wife a black eye is a whole different ball game. Whatever the reasoning. And So I'm gonna select episodes because some of that stuff is kind of cringy, whether it's really an issue for you personally or not. Uh, I don't have Pikey. Oh crap! That can't be right. Oh no, there's Pikey. I just had his name out of order there. That's good. I mean, there are primary characters. Yeah, say goodnight, Gracie. And I mean, the funny thing is, my mom was all like,
"My word, are they beefing? Happen I should say her son died of his own balm or sweeten their death with claims they lost fight to a chuck. Good gang for a slate missing. Need more to eat, Bob out, Bill."
you can tell this is the guy who knows his northern. That's why I was so bummed if it was missing. But I mean, the funny thing is, my mom thought the thing my issue was gonna be was with the relationship between George and Gracie, and I'm like, no, because actually Gracie kind of comes out on top all the time. For all that she's portrayed as a ditz, I mean, she still basically gets her way, and that's what makes it so different for me from something like I Love Lucy, because Lucy always annoyed me because she kept trying. She was trying to do things, and she was always thwarted or just failed, and it was just like, oh, come on. I mean, it's just like the joke was that she could never achieve anything.
Stop here. Happen, that's a relief. Happen, that's a relief.
Sounds like he's eating popcorn. We'll deal with it. I mean, the character could be eating something. I don't care. Let's see, who else do we have? Fitch, Pikey. Okay, that's everybody. So, but yeah, so I was just kind of creeped out by the issue with the postman. And so I decided I'm going to be selective and make sure I pick episodes that aren't going to do that. That aren't going to be, that won't include the worst humor in that comic, because it's a running gag is the problem. And I know it's like, oh, well, if we forget history, we're bound to repeat it. Well, yeah, I mean, we all know there's things in history, whatever, but this is a freaking radio station, not a history lesson. I'm not putting anything on there that says, oh, don't forget that this is not just the way it was back then or anything. I mean, that's one thing if we're doing something where we're dealing with racism, and that's one reason I picked Burns and Allen, because they really, from what I recall, didn't do a lot of racial humor. I mean, they basically just left anybody ethnic out of the show, and that's pretty much standard. But there wasn't a lot of very yeah, like they never know when to quit. Yeah. And so but Burns and Allen also were on for a really long time, so their standards changed over time. I'm not standards as in standards for what was good or bad, but their standard joke patterns and things changed. It changed with the sponsors, and they went through at least 3 major sponsors that I know of. And it changed with the station and whatever. I mean, different money people had different opinions on what was okay. And I'm cool with that. And I like the show, and I'll listen through a bunch of them when I, like while I'm driving or whatever. Actually, I've been listening to them when I work out. That's pretty funny because I'm sitting there on the machines laughing my ass off. But because there is a lot of really still funny stuff in Burns and Allen, and that's one reason. Another reason I wanted to pick it is because a lot of old sitcoms. Now, and somebody was accusing me of being, I don't know quite what he thought I was doing, but I mean, of saying that old humor was.
I know, we're having to send them mum.
was that I was not being like I was saying that all old humor was bad or something, and I'm like, no. The problem is most of the best jokes from radio got rehashed in the 70s and sitcoms in the 60s and 70s so much that when you go back to the radio show, even though they were fresh then, they feel just like old
I know, we're
jokes.
having to send their mum word of the beefing. I know, we're having to send their mum word of their beefing.
Let's see, let's try the last take here and see what it sounds like.
I know, we're having to send their mum word of their beefing. Happen I should say, son died of his own barm or sweetened to death with claims they lost fight to a chucky.
Okay, anybody know what he said? When I wrote it, I put in translations so that even the actors who didn't know what they were saying would know what they were saying. And that what that one breaks down into is, and I will have to write to your mother. What would you like me to tell her, that you died of being stupid or you lost a fight to a chicken? And let's see, Ted. There we go.
And they'll start somewhere. He'll nae stop here. And they'll start somewhere. He'll nae stop here.
I
Gang
didn't
for the
feel
slap.
There.
And they'll start somewhere. He'll nae stop here.
Well, actually, maybe I'll just take the first one. It'll be less of the chewing noise, hopefully. And Fitch. So, yeah, I picked up a big old thing on the internet of
I didn't
slang
feel
terms.
for the fight. Yon Stormcloud him seems like a fair measure. I didn't feel for the fight. Yon Stormcloud him feels like a fair measure.
Could gang for the...
And
Could gang for the slap missing. Could gang for the slap missing.
okay. But, you know, so because I do need to sit down and listen to Burns and Allen before I can put it up, I'm going to go ahead and put in Richard Diamond this month instead. And Richard Diamond is a comedy detective series. I mean, not like super parody. I mean, it's not like The Naked Gun or something, but it's like a detective series with a lot of humor in it. Written by Blake Edwards, of all people. And Blake Edwards, who created the Pink Panther movies and a bunch of other stuff like that. So, I mean, he was huge in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s as a movie writer. So that's kind of cool. I really, I mean, and Richard Diamond is always really funny. It's really weird. For the most part, the most sophisticated, the most sophisticated detective stories didn't tend to have a hell of a lot of really, I won't say horribly racial because I'm not really good at judging that, but they tended more just to ignore, you know, most races, unless they were doing something where it was set in, you know, Chinatown or something. You know, for the most, they didn't, you know, it wasn't the, oh, it just turned out to be that guy, you know, because he happens to be black or Chinese or something. I mean, there wasn't a lot of that. They just tended not to have characters like that at all. But, which is, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Making people invisible is only slightly better than making them murderers all the time, like we did in the 70s. But I mean, it's just one of those things I consider when I'm looking at old time
That
stuff.
gormless bastard. Guns are now. Us could take 'em.
I know, we're having to send them my word or they're beefing. Happen I should say her son died of his own barm or sweetened to death with claims they lost fight to a chucky.
And does start somewhat. He'll nae stop here.
I dinna feel for the fight. Yon storm clouding feels like a fair measure.
Good gang for the slate missing.
Okay. I'm going to tighten this up a bit because I want this to sound a little bit more urgent. So I'm going to have them all talking a little bit over each other here. I could even tempo it up a bit, but it's not quite that urgent. I just want this discussion to be real tight, so you get
Fight
this.
to a
And
chucky.
does start somewhat. He'll nae stop here.
I dinna feel for the fight. Yon storm clouding feels like a fair measure.
Good gang for the slate missing.
Okay. And that, it just they're talking a little bit over each other. I don't want to make it even harder to understand by having them talk a lot over each other. But, and that's this whole scene here. So we're going to mix that and copy it and unmix it. And that's scene 5. There we are, final. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really need to label these because there's missing ones and I don't always know how many are missing. Because it's always possible that there's 2 things missing in any given gap. So let's just go on and label them. But yeah, Richard Diamond is really funny, and there were a couple episodes that were really, really tight too, really good, and that's because it was well written. It wasn't just for laughs. It was really well written. So I have no qualms about popping that in for a month. It's always been on my radar. I mostly like detective stories. Oh, are you still doing the tin types? Oh. Yeah, they're still coming out. I mean, if I go here, hold on. If I go to my Twitter, there's from today. And I know I had one yesterday too. Oh, well, let's go to at in fact, I think I stuck an extra one in there a couple of days ago because I pushed button before I actually got it scheduled. Yeah, they're coming out. This one was a pain in the ass because of this wicker shit. I mean, look how clean that is. Look how pretty my wicker is. Sorry, I had to say that. Because that one took forever. Anyway. On to scene 6. Whoops. But, there's... Oh, wait. Let's see. Scene 6 is, let me see who we got. Oh, that's another one where we're missing it because of the incoming voices. And I do have to mention one thing for people. If you're recording and working in Audacity, you can't send a... Oh, what did I just do? Oh, I'm... Okay. You can't send AUP files. In fact, it's best not to try to email Audacity files at all. If you record in Audacity, you need to export to an MP3 or a WAV. If it's short, WAVs will still go in emails. They're fine. They're quite large compared to MP3s, but MP3s are like a proprietary thing, and you have to get a special encoder, which isn't hard. And I'll show how to do it if people are starting out on Audacity and want to know how to get the lame encoder for it. It's called LAME. I don't know why. LAME. That's an acronym, I assume. But you have to output stuff before you can email it. and because I just received some lines from somebody as an AUP file, and I did that myself when I first started out, which is one reason I will never forget. No, and when when you're looking in anything here, the AUP file has to always stay with the directory because it's like the spine of a book, and the directory has all the pages in it. So the spine means absolutely nothing by itself. The pages mean absolutely nothing by themselves. They have to stay together. Okay, yeah, I wasn't gonna name names, David, but well, if you didn't save that, then yes, you need to redo it. If you saved it, then you just need to open it up and output it. All it has to do is, take it, file, save other, export. I want an export option over here. I don't like this save other bullshit. But export, if you try to export as MP3 and you don't have a lame encoder, it'll just tell you you can't do that. Export as WAV instead, because they'd be short. And you should be able to stick a WAV in an email. WAVs tend to be, as a rule of thumb, an MP3 is going to be about 1 megabyte for every minute of length, while a WAV is going to be about 10 times that. Because waves are uncompressed. They're the much better sound in the long run. But a lot of times for voice, really all you need is an MP3. So, anyway. Part 6 is as yet not here. 7 is back to Lem and the Doc and everybody in the cart. Let's see. I'll leave my satchel.
I'll leave my satchel here as well, if you please.
Yeah, you boys go play and have fun.
So, and then we'll go back. Back to the old time radio. I've really enjoyed a lot of different old time radio.
Always I defer to your wisdom, dear husband. Well, you two go on and make peace.
I've always liked a lot of old time radio. For a while, I actually was working with one of the people who are online, like selling CDs. She was giving me free CDs, and I was writing reviews of them because so many people really don't know. People who are just getting into it didn't know what shows were or if they were any good or something. So I picked up a lot of stuff that I wouldn't necessarily have otherwise ever heard. And that's really cool, actually, because, you get a wide...
How'd you get that?
The
what? The what?
And, so, yeah, basically, I had a chance to listen to a lot of stuff that I might not otherwise even have given a chance to, because, a lot of once you get onto the internet, you find out that a lot of this stuff it's public domain and it's really easy to find. But back then, way back in prehistory, this was the way you could get it was order it on CDs, and somebody would burn you an MP3 CD, and that's how you listen to old time radio. Even before that, there was the person who sold cassettes, and they were really expensive. But, because there was also postage and stuff. It was like $20 for a 2-cassette set of 6 episodes of some show. It was like, I'm so old. But, we're into the cart. Yes, 7. And so, but there are some really good old time radio shows. One that if I was going to showcase it, if it was available, and I think it is one where they've retained copyright. See, there's shows that have lost their copyright, and their show because they were never intended to be replayed. They were meant to be live and then just there. And I mean, not like they would never get, you know, they were recorded and they were reused sometimes, but just in general, the intention was not. Oh wait, no, I don't want to do that to her. She's already way over. But the intention was never, you know, for there to be a lot of, you know, resale value or anything. It just had never been thought of. And so a lot, because it was such a composite work, a lot of copyrights were just left to lapse pretty much instantly. And so that's one reason it's such a weird gray area. And so they've got, so that's why a lot of it is free on archive.org, and that's where I've been picking up them. The old time radio, oh, there's some group, OTRR, Old Time Radio Revival, Old Time Radio Researchers, that's it. They're the ones who curate a lot of these and try to find all the episodes, any missing episodes, and fill in blanks and stuff, and they've done a wonderful job. I need to find a way. I need to get in touch with them if they are an actual group and not just like a bunch of enthusiasts, and see if they would like some kind of plug on my radio station, because I do want to make sure they get credit. I'm just not quite sure what the most appropriate way to do that is. Because they have really worked their butts off to do these completist things. Oh, whoops. Lim is not the first line of the story, of the scene. Anyway, so, I mean, because there's shows like, well, like Firefighters, which I really love. And it's a kids show. And it's very much a kids show, but at the same time, it was really realistic.
Irene, I would prefer strongly that you remain in the cart. Irene, I would prefer strongly that you remain in the cart. Irene, I would prefer strongly that you remain in the cart. Good. The what?
Meh. He forgot to put a laugh in there. Oh well. So, but, and Firefighters was all about this young guy who joins the fire brigade, obviously, and he does, you know, he's got younger siblings who are like super impressed, and he's, you know, clearly gonna climb the ranks among the firefighters, and he's learning how firefighting works. And
as always, I defer to your wisdom, dear husband. As always, I defer to your wisdom, dear husband. As always, I defer to your wisdom, dear husband.
So, but and that sounds, you know, it's not talking down to the kids really exactly, which is the funny part, because a lot of what they do in the firefighting is actually pretty realistic. I mean, within certain reason. And there's one particular, like, 3-episode sequence, because these were serialized, and they were, like, 10-minute episodes. It's kind of, you know, because that's what they thought kids had an attention span of, was like
I'll
10
also
minutes.
keep a close eye on the shotgun. Why, I'll also keep a close eye on the shotgun.
And so one of the things that, you know, in this one series of episodes...
The what? The what?
There's a apartment house that catches fire, and the firefighters are called, and it's a very awkward place. They can't bring in the trucks with the big ladders on them, and as they're getting people out of the building, and the building is like 10 stories tall or something. I mean, really awkwardly tall to reach any other way but with the ladder, the hook and ladder trucks. And so the young guy, the hero, who's getting the nickname Hooksy, because, well, he gets the nickname Hooksy because of this, he has to take a fishbone ladder up the side of the building. And I don't think we even use these anymore. I mean, but the description of it as they're watching him go up the building is like harrowing. I think it was called a fishbone ladder. That's not it. Well, it's a ladder where the rungs are on either side of a central stick, which has a hook on the end. And the stick, he has to reach it up, hook it over. I mean, literally, he's carrying the ladder and then climbing it, then carrying it. He's got to hook it over the windowsill of the floor above, then climb it, then sit on that windowsill and hook it over the next one. And like I said, the description is incredibly harrowing.
Happy to be useful. You two go on now and you make peace. Happy to be useful. Now you two go on and make peace.
And so it just becomes this. It was just really good, and you don't expect good from something aimed at children, necessarily, as far as storylines go. And meanwhile, the guys on the ground, this dude comes back, and they realize that he set this fire, that it's an arson case. And because he set the fire thinking just to get the insurance on his rental furniture. And now his wife is being rescued with the jump with the net because he left her there, and it was really dark also for a kids show. Anyway, and every episode ended with, like Fire Marshal somebody or other going, "Don't forget, don't leave, oily newspapers lying around in your attic. They could catch fire. Your junior firefighter job for this week is to go around your house and pick up anything that might be fire flammable and make sure that it gets out of the house." I mean, so it was definitely a kids show. And so anyway, I know I'm just ranting. I want to put firefighters on the station at some point. The problem is that because it is serialized, I'd have to make up blocks of it that were, like completed stories, sort of, rather than just put an episode in here and there, because it would make no sense. That is the problem with serialized stuff, is, either you put in a full story or it just doesn't make sense. And a lot of serialized stuff. I mean, you get a lot of that in, like the romance stories and stuff. There are some just dreadful soap operas that, were aimed at the housewife, and oh my god, it's like Backstage Wife or something, and they're just terrible. Okay, let's listen to this one. Again, there's not much movement in this scene, and I think a lot of this, they're in the car. Wait, no, they're getting down from the cart. So I guess he is getting down from the cart at this point somewhere. But you know what? I think I'm gonna skip that for now. I think I'm going to. I'll have the horse noises because the horses will still be there. The cart is stationary at this point, so I don't need the cart noise per se. We'll just leave the horse in the background here. And let's see.
Irene, I would prefer strongly that you remain in the cart.
As always, I defer to your wisdom, dear husband.
Good.
Why, I'll also keep a close eye on the shotgun.
The what?
I'll leave my satchel here as well, if you please, ma'am.
Happy to be useful. Now, you two go on and make peace.
So, if I set the two guys so they're kind of out of the cart, put her in the cart, that would be nice. Let's see, there's a pop.
As well, if you please.
The puh in the please is popping here. Let's go in here. It's just a minor pop. I'm just going to run a high pass filter on it.
If you please, ma'am.
See, for me, that's the easiest way to take care of just, rough spots as far as high pass goes. I mean, as far as pops go. If it's just a rough spot and not an actual pop, it's a lot easier just to high pass filter it than to do something exotic with it. I really need a track full of pops to do some demonstrations with, and the sad part is I'm too good, I can't make them. I shouldn't say that totally, but I'm kind of hoping that one of these ones, as I find them, might have some pops that I can pass along, because I've had a request for, how do you deal with pops as a one of my quickie videos for
Irene,
YouTube.
I would prefer strongly that you remain in the cart.
As always, I defer to your wisdom, dear husband.
Good.
Why, I'll also keep a close eye on the shotgun.
The what?
I'll leave my satchel here as well, if you please, ma'am.
Happy to be useful. Now, you two go on and make peace.
Now, one of the unsaid things in this scene, just so everybody knows, is that the reason Lem brought his satchel along is because that's where Fanshaw's ashes are. And Fanshaw's stuck in a radius from the ashes. Which is why in earlier episodes, Fanshaw couldn't travel to the mining camp, or to the logging camp to talk to Nels. Could only get within a certain distance of it. That's why Lem has brought this along, because this is helpful, having Fanshaw close. It's just one of those little background things that, doesn't get explained. It's just you kind of gotta figure it out. We figured out some of it, and in fact, one of the ending parts of this whole storyline, because they're still stuck here, Lem is still healing from the bullet wounds. He's really not in tip-top shape right now. This is not one of the early stories. This story follows the regular set of stories. Yes, yeah, Fanshaw hasn't showed up in this episode, but is around. Fanshaw's in here somewhere. Fanshaw is probably off talking to Ezra or something. Ezra is a local ghost. The one that's a little kid who thinks he's an angel, which is just heartbreaking. And so, yes, but Fanshaw is actually kind of amazed by the fact that Ezra can travel a lot more than Fanshaw can. And while they're stuck here, Fanshaw wants to see about finding some of that out, about why that is. I mean, because there aren't really any sort of, ghost lore from the ghost side as far as, what ghosts can do. I mean, they can't affect the world at all in my mythology here. They can't move things. They can't do things. But information is so useful that Fanshaw is actually an awesome sidekick, because, like in Old Lang Syne, there's a battle, and Fanshaw's like, I can see where all the enemies are. Here's one over here, and here's one over here, and because, Fanshaw can walk right out in the battlefield, and nobody can see, nobody even, realizes that. And so there's information coming back from areas that you wouldn't normally expect. Okay. Okay. Oh, God damn it. I am going to have to see if I have... Here's more Nels, and I was missing Nels. from. I know, but I have James, and James is my brother. But they're both my brother's role, and they're both were recorded at the same time. So I should have. No, that's the scripts. That doesn't help. Voices. I should have 5, 6 Swedes. And we're only on 6. He's got to be in here. Let's see.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen to them babble. And cannot do anything when Ollie tells them to calm down.
Okay, I missed this completely, apparently. Hopefully this goes all the way into 7.
Beating the crap out of another guy. Sure, they do not want to give her over to the doctor either.
Yeah, I think that goes into 7. That's what I had, though.
Nothing worse than to have to sit and listen to them babble.
Okay, hold on. Because I thought I was missing it previously. And those are the lines that I couldn't find. Ah! Sorry. It's like this, Oh, yeah, I don't remember specifically either, but yeah. And, yeah, and it's one of those things where you don't really always think about what a great companion somebody could be, just... Why is this... Okay, hold up. Anyway, yeah, wait, because, there's been shows and things of, like, a detective with a partner who was a ghost. There's been a TV show of that, My Partner the Ghost. And there's been, I'm going to have to reclean this. And then there was, also, let's see. I mean, there's been things like that, but I don't think anybody's ever done a Western with a ghost before, and that's one reason I'm quite chuffed with myself over this. Let's see here. Okay, that's weird. Where are these then? Original voices. Which is under... Yeah. Original voices. Huh. Wait a minute. Audio dramas Deadeye Taste 6 original voices. Why was I not seeing that then? The Ghost of Just in Case? Oh, funny. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Six original voices. There is something wrong. Wait, where am I? Oh, I'm in a USB drive again. I need to get that USB drive out of there because that is just confusing me. Sorry. I'm not perfect. I'm so sorry. I hate to. Oh, well, yeah, it's George Carlin's heyday there. Okay. And all I really wanted was his noise removal track. So, what was I talking about? Oh, old time radio in general, though. I mean, there's a lot of shows that aren't great or are, you know, sometimes even bafflingly or annoyingly annoying. And too many people have come across those shows when they're looking at old time radio and they're like, "Oh my god, that's terrible." And you're like, "No, there's a lot of good shows." There really were. And, people aren't always willing to give it a chance. I am going to go back right now, real quick, to scene 4 and insert the proper lines here for Nels, because I found them. I can't spell it, but I can find it. That would be these.
Nothing worse than
Okay, it's still got a lot of buzz in there. Hold on. Damn it. I'm gonna have to do a new track of some kind. Let's hope there's enough in there to do it. Anyway, but yeah, there's so the ghost of just in case, is it any good? Okay. Tell me I've got enough sound to do this. Nothing else really good. If I'm adding it all up anyway, I might as well take it down to its basics. Cool. I bet it's not an easy one to find, though. The best things, the ones you remember the best that are funny, are like usually really hard to find for some reason. But, there you go. Some people just laugh because it's a dead lawyer. Whoa, that's a crowd.
and cannot do any.
Okay, that sounds much better. And scene 4. So, oh no. Okay, at least the scenes have been ending up in here and not in the thumb drive. That was what I was suddenly worrying about, is that all this stuff. Yeah. Oh, that works too. Well, the biggest problem, of course, with any time you have a ghost plot is the concept of communication. And that's where we get the Deadeye Kid here, is, or like the movie Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg's character in that. Whoops, I forgot how to do that. You get the communication link, the person who is able to talk for them or through them.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen to them babble. And cannot do anything but.
So, and of course in the one episode where they do run into somebody else who can see ghosts, the little girl in Hanging Rock, she, Lem gives her some, Lem gives her some really good advice as to how to deal with, her talent. Because, obviously he's been through it at some point, at least as a child. And he points out, he tells her that if anybody ever catches you talking to dead folks, you either, you tell them that you were just reciting your lessons. And, which is, that's really good advice, because otherwise people get questioning on it. And there's the cat. She won't meow for me, but she will sneeze. Okay, let's see. And his lines come in Hanser Arg.
Hanser.
Okay, so this line goes right after that. Yeah, and so, but yeah, I mean, it isn't something that would be just easy to deal with in any kind of situation other than, like modern day. And even modern day, you get nobody believes you. Holy. That's only. And then. Okay, so the other line goes. Just close up. The other line goes here, and then this one, and then this one. Let's see how that sounds. Get the timing in here.
Ole, det kommer.
Jag ser Oli. Hanser.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen to them babble.
Alla ni, stå vid sidan.
And cannot do anything when Oli tells them to calm down.
Är det hotar det?
Du är en idiot. Vi var...
Okay, so I do want to tighten it a little, and I'm going to have to obviously create a little bit more background noise. Background track, I mean. One reason I want to tighten it is obviously nobody's stopping while he talks because he's
Ole,
a
det
ghost.
kommer.
Jag ser Oli. Hanser.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen to them babble.
Alla ni, stå vid sidan.
And cannot do anything when Oli tells them to calm down.
Är det hotar det?
Du är en idiot.
To calm down.
Är det hotar det?
Du är en idiot. Vi var överens. Det här du stört. Du stör åt sidan.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit right here and paste it, because...
Du anata en att mal till grad av dig.
Ole, det kommer.
Jag ser Oli. Hanser.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen.
Let me tighten this up just a skosh more. Because really they're kind of all just yelling at once. Okay, let's see if I want to make sure it's clear. But you
Av
wanna...
dig.
Ole, det kommer.
Jag ser Oli. Hanser.
Nothing worse than to have to sit here and listen to them
Alla
babble.
ni, stå vid
And
sidan.
cannot do anything when Oli tells them to calm down.
Är det hotar det?
Du är en idiot. Vi var överens.
That is yay, because it does help a little bit just to give that little bit of that's what's going on, even though it's not much. It's nice to make sure we know Nels is still here and he's around and all that. I'm gonna move Oli a little bit farther off. Trying to remember if there's a way to make it sound more like he's yelling from a distance. Let me take him down a little bit.
Here and listen to them
Alla
babble.
ni, stå vid
And
sidan.
cannot do anything when Oli tells them to calm down.
Är det hotar det?
Du är en idiot. Vi var överens.
Yeah, it works okay. Unfortunately, yelling is one of those things that when you're doing it, and this is something actually on the microphone that people do or don't do. Let me get into that in just a second. Well, let me finish this. Save all, blend, all, copy, unblend, and then go back over here and put it in the number 4 spot. It's longer now, and we'll move everything around at some point later. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Because we're still missing scenes. But when recording yelling, and this is something that, as opposed to just talking angrily or speaking louder, there's different ways to do it with microphone technique that make it, really tricky. I mean, one way is just to sound like you're putting the effort into it without actually adding volume. Not always the easiest way to do it, but that's one way to get across the concept of yelling. Because yelling is a different stress on your voice than just talking louder is. I mean, too many people just talk louder when they want to sound like they're yelling, but it really is, it's a very different thing, and you have to project it well beyond the microphone without actually harming the microphone in the process. I mean, a lot of people, if they have to yell, for instance, when we did live old time radio, because, you don't have the option of changing microphone settings or anything. You have to work with a static microphone and adjust yourself no matter what. Because, I mean, another thing you can do is actually yell but turn the gain way down. That sometimes works. But when we used to do it on an old time radio is we'd turn away so that you were talking sort of sideways to the mic, and then you could give a yell or a scream, because you're always doing screaming things, people get murdered, whatever. Or if it was going to be something really loud, you would turn your back to the mic. Or you'd step back. Stepping back was like the first step, or turning to the side was the first step. Turning your back was for like really loud screams. But, there's different ways to deal with it, but it does make it sound different. And, so a lot of times the best way is just to turn the gain down and modulate your voice and try to project. But, because talking louder does not necessarily sound like yelling. Sorry, that's very silly, but it's a good lesson anyway. Okay, so we've been fixing things, and I should have the missing Scabby Bill lines for the first episode as well. I just got that sent back to me, so I need to look at that. So. And here we go with, let's see. I think I am going to stop here. The next scene is kind of long, the next full scene, and it's the Swedes again, so it's a little bit more grueling in the listening to what they're trying to figure out which line is which department. I mean, once I figure out where I am, it's usually okay, because, they do flow to a degree. But it's like when I've got that long chain of random stuff and I'm trying to figure out where I am in it, that's when it gets tricky. Oh, and I think I need to do this. I need to separate this one out and make it the one. I mean, just so that I'm very clear here, because that's number 1. The changed number note here is specifically because I need to change the episode number, and because this is just the stolen opening credits from the past episode. And I'm going to do the same with the closing credits for these two. They're just going to get the same closing credits as the last episode, and but I think I can sneak in a change to the number of the episode. Unless I can find my actual like boilerplate opening sound file and fix it there. These are why you finish everything when it's fresh in your head. This is my atonement for having left these episodes sitting doing nothing for so long. But we are moving forward. We got 2 more scenes in, and we've got fixed a scene that was missing. So, I would play it for you, but there's so many gaps. We're still kind of stuck at the moment. So, when we get it all done, it's going to be very satisfying, that's for sure. I have given the Grady lines to somebody. I just have to get him to do them and send them back. Grady is the missing character in the missing scenes. It's the introduction of the next storyline, actually, but it does matter. I can't just take it out because what's happening is the next storyline is basically running into the middle of this conflict, and then these two sides work together to beat up a bunch of outlaws, and that makes them able to deal with each other, and the outlaws are part of the next storyline, so if I take it out, they got nobody to beat up, and it changes the whole thing. But it will work. It will be fabulous. I am always fabulous. Shall we have some script? Since we're here and all that. At least I hope people are still here. There we are. Well, I know you want script. I hope other people do too. I don't know. I see. I don't get any kind of list of who all's here, so I try to make sure that I'm not going ahead when people I know who are interested are missing it. But I can't really tell unless they chirp up here in the chat room. So, but I am going to stop recording.